How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hope everyone is doing well. As we all know, a ginormous update went up with some new maps and some new weapons in Call of Duty. So, my download just finished about an hour ago. I've been pretty busy with homework. Normally I would try to get Damascus on the first day, then talk about my feelings about a weapon. So this time I wasn't really able to do that. So I kind of jumped in, and I get a feel for weapons pretty quickly, so I just went ahead and shortened it down. Normally I like to at least have Damascus on the gun, that way I can show off kind of where the looks are. So for starters, we're going to start with, a lot of people are just calling this the Galil. It's the, let's see, CR56 AMAX. It plays a lot like the Galil, if anyone's ever used it. Now, it's very similar to an M4 in a lot of regards, which a lot of assault rifles kind of fit into that category. As you can see, very accurate even at long distance. Of course, it could also be the attachments I have on, so I can show that later on. I'll be doing a separate video on the Vector, which of course it's called something different in this game. At the end of this, I'm going to kind of go over some class setups that you may want to consider. Now, as I pointed out, I haven't gotten to play with these a whole lot, which led to me playing with a friend and kind of getting the feel for these weapons, and me and him just kind of talked back and forth and figured out roughly what these things are going to be good at and what they're going to be bad at. So, what we found when it comes to the CR is it's good in many regards. It's not as good in our opinion as like say the M4. You cut it off, you put on 9mm if you want, 5.56 if you want. Anyway, you can make it really short, and then most people, it's the no stock. You slap on a big barrel, right? So this one is all of the ADS attachments on. Of course, most people won't be using this, but I wanted to display that it is still very controllable and usable online. Meaning, if we go ahead and slap on something like this, it should, as with most setups for weapons, end up being pretty good. And sorry, I'm kind of just free commentating this. I'm not really able to edit right now. But as you can see, this thing is actually very, very controllable. It's very, like I said, it's very similar to the M4, which I feel like it's not, I guess, the purpose, but it does seem like Infinity War obviously wants people to be happy with new weapons, so they kind of just follow the formula. They know what's good, and they go and move on. But this thing obviously is going to be good. You can throw on some faster attachments. You could put on. There's another barrel that increases ADS, and it doesn't help with the recoil. Of course, the barrel I had on before definitely doesn't help with the recoil at all, actually. So that's beside the point. Now, there is another setup, I suppose, for this weapon where it's kind of AK styled. Gotta kill me. Or at least I made it seem a little more AK styled. It has the same stock. And as we saw, I can't remember what caliber this thing said it was. Anyway, the setup I have here is personally my favorite just because it kind of fits all categories. I have the 45 rounds if I were to need them. I just tossed on an operator. I have the fast ADS. I have stipple grip, and then I have another fast ADS. This personally is my favorite setup right now, and I feel like once I start getting used to this weapon, it's going to continue to be. Now, the iron sights can at some point at long distances be a little annoying. Otherwise, I feel like they're super clean and super easy to use. But I know some people prefer the closed irons. My friend is one of those kind of people that would prefer it closed. But with this setup, I mean, as you can see, it laser beams. It's pretty dang great. So that is going to be a setup I'm going to talk about. So the last thing I want to talk about before I get into the setups is, again, this gun is another one that comes with some weird attachments. So this is 7.62 with 10 rounds, and it becomes a semi-automatic. So to test this a little bit better, I threw on a monolithic suppressor and the biggest barrel to give me maximum range and efficiency basically on it. So it's kind of a DMR version, but as you can see, there's no real point to it. However, the one thing I can say is going for this thing is that it is a one-shot, at least in my experience, on hardcore. So if you see someone, you just tap them. Although, is it really worth it when you could just full auto them? And this thing seems to be about a 2 to a 3 shot, depending on distance. It's, it is what it is. So now that we've kind of talked about that, I'm going to go ahead and get into setups, stuff like that, like kind of what you'd want to run, basically. And this will be the last one I'll show. The last, at least, loadout that I have. I feel like this will be an end-style build, what you'll have when you're, done leveling it up, what I'm probably going to be using, if not the last one that I showed. Once again, sorry, I'm missing a lot of shots. I am sleep deprived and school is killing me right now. But anyway, this thing is going to end up being super good. And it definitely shows. As I said, I'll be doing a vector video. I'm going to record that one right after this, so I'll have that up pretty quickly. And the vector, I think, is going to end up being my favorite of the two. So we'll go ahead and go to some setups that you can try. Obviously, I'll look for something like a budget build, and then we'll talk about what probably will be the best in terms of setups once you have everything unlocked. And feel free to change these around based on your playstyle, of course. So the way I would look at this weapon, based on the time I've spent with it, is to look at it similar to the way you would an M4 or what is the Grau. Look at it similar to those. It has a little bit more side to side, but as you can see, the stats are pretty close. The Grau does a little bit less damage, but it also has a little bit more fire rate, a little bit more range, a little bit more accuracy. It's very similar to the Grau, and the M4, once again, it's pretty similar. So think about that when you're setting your own up. So for the first build, I was using... Oops, my bad. The first build I was recommending here is going to take a bit to unlock. It's one of the last things. We have the aim down sight. Speed for that one, the FSS close quarters on that, stipple grip there, and then I'm using the operator foregrip with the 45 round. And this just makes it good at basically anything you need to do. And once you learn to control the recoil, that thing's crazy. If you want something a little, more M4-ish, what you would be used to. You got the 45 round, commando foregrip, slap on the biggest barrel, no stock, stipple grip, and you're ready to go. And if you can really handle recoil, stuff like that, you could just throw like this on. If you can handle the recoil, I mean, this would even speed you up a little bit more because you wouldn't have the movement speed lowered. So feel free to try that. As for the 10 round 7.62 M67s, I don't see the Wow, this is actually chambered in 7.62 by 39, huh? It should be doing way more damage than a 5.56, though. 5.56 is better at piercing armor, but 7.62 has more stopping power. Whatever. It's their game. I don't know what they're doing with that. The 10 rounds don't really seem worth it. 2 to 3 shots, that gives you approximately 3 shots per kill. Hardcore, you have the possibility of 10 kills per. But if you throw on a 45 round and it's a 2-shot, I mean, you have the possibility of way more kills and you get full auto. So I personally don't think I would ever use that. Now, the other setup that I really enjoyed, again, we're doing the ADS barrel. I just threw on a red dot just to show that, you know, if you need to use a red dot, that's good. Otherwise, 45 rounds, once again, really good. And then we're going to be using the CR56 EXO, which is going to increase your ADS and your walk speed, which is really good. We're going to do stipple grip again, and then commando foregrip, and this thing is a monster. It's really, really good. Now, let's say for somehow you're having issues with recoil, I guess. Throw on the big one, the big barrel, Ranger foregrip. You could even throw on recoil control if you're still having some issues. I still recommend that you have the EXO because it's just the best stock. If you're not running no stock, it's simply just such a good stock. There's no reason not to use it. However, this turns this gun into a nail driver in my opinion. My dad plays Call of Duty and he's one of the people that'll tell me it's not a nail driver. So for you, Dad, you can toss on the compensator, and then I know what you're going to say, you can't see, so you can toss on a 3X, or I guess in his case he is a fan of the 4, so that would be your setup, Dad, if you end up watching. And those are the setups that I would be using. Like I said, my download finished about an hour ago. I jumped right on so I can make a video because my download took all yesterday. I started it at night, it took the entire day, and then it finished about 2 in the morning the night before, so I only got to play for about an hour before I ended up being done. I haven't even gotten to start the battle pass or anything yet, so my download took over 30 hours, but that's including all my online homework and all that, slowing down my internet. So I apologize that I don't, at least have more playtime in this, or at least have it higher than a level 1. I hope this helps. As for a budget build, sorry, I forgot to mention a budget styled. So first thing you're going to get is the Intruder. It's not that bad. It does increase your recoil, so if you don't really want that, don't use it. FSS, first close quarter, from the look of it. I'd slap that on. That thing's great. No reason not to use it. Red dots if you need them. I'm not sure when you're going to unlock the 45, but obviously I throw that on as soon as I can. No real reason to use that. Once you get stipple grip, throw that on. Commando foregrip, always good to have. There's no real reason not to use it. Bigger barrel, you could throw that on if you're having, longer distance engagements, having any issues with recoil. It's not a bad barrel. I would kind of just stick with the stock version of it. And lasers, all that kind of stuff. Probably if I had to throw one together over just the first few attachments, I'd probably just slap a red dot on and call it good for what it is right now. Either that or I wouldn't want that. Hip fire, accuracy, just cuz I'm not right. I'm just throwing it out there. I think the iron sights are really good on this thing. So I hope this helps you guys get a startup. If you guys have anything you want to add, what I'm trying to do with this video is help people get started with the weapons. So don't see this as anything. It's simply an opinion on what I think is a good setup for the weapon, or would be a good setup. Obviously there are tons of other YouTubers that'll do this as well. So if you have any setups that you think are personally better, please link them down. Please just put them down below, or if you have your own personal setup, give us the attachments you're using and let us know why you think it's really good. Otherwise, leave a like, comment if you enjoyed, once again, sorry if I am just kind of monotoning right now. I'm trying to stay quiet because the wife is asleep, and I'm really tired because of homework, so I'm trying to keep up with everything. But I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, as always.